Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Ryan Mellon here with Millersville University meteorologist Eric Horst. Eric, looks like some of the cold air we've been missing so far this winter for some of these storms is finally making its way here. It could make things interesting coming up. But what are we looking at this weekend? We got a little bit of snow in the forecast.
Yeah, there's many facets to the weekend forecast. We could talk about the coldest air of the season coming in. We could talk about some light snow, maybe a few snow squalls later tomorrow. But I think maybe the most notable thing is dangerous wind chills. Sunday, 10 to 20 below zero, the wind chills will be. So anybody outside late Saturday night, Sunday evening, exposed skin can begin to be damaged in just a matter of minutes. So you're going to want to bundle up and limit time outdoors.
Right, and the snow that you were talking about is just a couple squalls, maybe 2 inches, maybe 3 in some spots.
Yeah, here's the deal. It's going to vary from location to location. There's really two parts to what we're going to see in terms of snow. The first part, there'll be some intermittent light snow that develops during the day Saturday. Probably here in Lancaster, late morning to midday, there'll be some flakes starting to come down, and there could be a coating to an inch of snow that falls during the daylight hours, say by 5 or 6 p.m. It's the early evening that the Arctic front will come across the Susquehanna Valley from west to east, and there's very potent jet stream dynamics, about as strong as it ever gets in these parts, and consequently this just won't be ordinary snow showers, but there can potentially be some thunder snow squalls where it snows heavily for a half an hour, you get a few rumbles of thunder, you see a flash of lightning, and you pick up an inch of snow in 30 minutes. Now, not everybody's going to see that, but some locations will. Other locations will see some snow showers. And so that second part of the storm, I think it's between 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. that those squalls can move through Lancaster. That second part of the storm could drop anywhere from a coating to an inch or two, depending whether you take a direct hit from one of those squalls.
Mm-hmm.
And then the winds will pick up, the temperatures will fall rapidly throughout the night. So Saturday afternoon we may be around 30 degrees. By Sunday morning we're going to be probably about 8 degrees. So and then you add in winds of 20 to 40 miles per hour late Saturday night and Sunday, and that's where you get those sub-zero wind chills.
Right.
So total snowfall from the light snow Saturday, the snow squall Saturday evening, maybe some lingering snow showers late Saturday night, all totaled up, a half an inch to 2 inches is what I think is most common. A few spots maybe as much as 3 inches, but I think that's the exception, not the rule. And of course, with winds picking up 20 to 40 miles per hour, how are you going to measure snow? It's going to be blowing all over the place. There'll be bare yards, even in places where it snowed 2 inches. And then, of course, there'll be some drifting as well on back roads. So PennDOT's going to have to be out and about much of the weekend, not only from the snow that falls Saturday, but also drifting of that little bit of snow on Sunday.
Right, and it sounds like the time frame there could be right over kind of dinner reservations for a big Valentine's Day. So anyone heading out for dinner might want to be careful. How do you debrief PennDOT and in this kind of storm with the wind blowing? I mean, what kind of things can they do to try to stay on top of it?
Right. Yeah. Well, I give them multiple updates throughout the day, throughout the night. If there's a storm on the way, I update them typically every 6 hours or more. So, and I'm talking about the PennDOT in our part of the state. I don't brief the entire state, but just the Susquehanna Valley, the District 8 counties. And so they're able to plan ahead, plan their shifts, have their trucks ready, and go out and do their thing. And in this area, they're used to drifting, they're used to snow squalls and light snow, and luckily heading into the storm, I noticed this morning the roads kind of have that white glisten of salt on them, so I think there's a lot of leftover salt from the last event. That helps them a little bit on the front end of this storm. When the first snowflakes fall Saturday, maybe they melt on the road and don't accumulate. So, but as you said, Saturday evening when the sun sets, the squalls hit and the temperatures fall, there's going to be some very slippery travel. So if you are heading out, if you have dinner reservations, you're going to want to slow down and be careful and have warm clothes with you, because if somehow you would get stranded Saturday night or Sunday and would have to walk somewhere, again, those dangerous wind chills are a concern.
That's a great tip. Have some gloves, hats, an extra jacket, blankets in the car. anything that'll help keep you safe if you are stranded. So,
Right.
So we're dealing with the record colds here maybe this weekend. Not
Right.
only
Yeah.
is the wind going to be high, but the temperatures are going to be single digits themselves. So.
Right. Yeah, I see two records that we can have a good chance of breaking. The first record is for the lowest high temperature on Sunday. That's a record we keep. People aren't really familiar with it, but Sunday, February 15th, the record for the lowest high temperature is 18 degrees. I think we're going to break that. I think our high is probably more like 14 degrees on Sunday. And of course, the winds will make it feel way, way colder than that. The second record we have a shot at, I'm not positive we break it, is the low temperature Monday morning of -1 below zero. Now, we can get there. This air mass is cold enough if the winds die down. It's funny, the winds make it feel colder on our skin, but in terms of actual temperature that you measure on a thermometer, the winds mix up the atmosphere, which makes it tougher to get rock bottom temperatures. So if the winds die down completely late Sunday night, I think we're going to break that -1. If the winds stay up, then we probably don't quite get there.
I see. And then looking at those lists on your site, the climatology reports, it's not often we break record temperatures. So this is looking like a stretch
Right.
of cold that is pretty special.
Well, sure. Our database here goes back 100 years. We have weather records going back to 1914 in Lancaster. So yes, when you have 100 years of records, it is tough to break any record, whether it's a record high or a record low. It's not something you're going to do frequently. And sub-zero temperatures, of course, we can go several winters without getting below zero here in Lancaster. Now, it just so happens we had a very, very cold winter last year, and we got below zero on several occasions. This winter we haven't done it yet, but we have a shot to do it Monday morning.
Okay, sounds good. And then now we have this cold air here, and I think you've kind of been hinting at maybe some active patterns here to round out February and even into March.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate? How long is it going to be cold?
Yeah, well, I mean, the large-scale jet stream pattern is not going to change in the next 2 weeks. I'm confident about that. So what we've seen, we're going to continue to see. And what that is these frequent cold fronts and clippers that come through and usher in, renewed shots of cold air. So I'm very confident the rest of February we're going to average below normal, well below normal. And cold enough to snow if we can get a storm on the right track. We haven't had a big one yet this winter because we've just mainly had clippers, and some of those clippers have blown up into ocean storms. And of course, we've heard about the record snowfall in Boston from those nor'easters. But our big storms come out of the south, and we really haven't had a setup like that yet. There's a hint that there's a possibility of something on the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame of next week, but it's very uncertain. The key disturbances are still out over the Pacific. Just how they'll time out and whether there'll be phasing that will allow the system to sharpen up and develop, those are question marks. So the range of possibilities on Tuesday and Wednesday could be just a clipper that gives us a little light snow, or if those systems join, it could be a more significant, perhaps plowable snow, though that's not a for sure either. So it's one of those things we'll have to revisit in a couple days. And if that one doesn't materialize, I think snow lovers who are kind of chomping at the bit for a decent snowstorm, they shouldn't give up hope yet. The pattern is going to remain right through the end of the month, maybe even into early March. So we have at least 2, maybe 3 or 4 more weeks of winter left. And I don't know about you, but this weatherman's ready for spring here soon.
Yeah, I'm certainly ready to hit the golf course, but I know some people want to hit the slopes, ski, and snowboard. So can't please everyone. We know that, but so we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on that weather event Tuesday, Wednesday next week. But we're going to get through tomorrow's, and just to recap. Saturday evening, rolling in around maybe right around dinner time with reservations, and maybe some chance for a couple inches, maybe a coating to a couple inches, mostly in Lancaster County. Sound about right, Eric?
Yeah, and that snow will be blowing around, so it's going to be tough to measure it. The heaviest snow in Pennsylvania will fall in the Laurel Highlands, where there'll be spots that get up to 6 inches, and also northeastern PA, the Poconos could get up to about 6 inches from this weekend event. But I think the bigger message to get out there is the dangerous wind chills.
Absolutely.
Saturday night into Sunday.
Absolutely. Stay warm out there, folks, and that'll do it for today's live chat. Eric, thanks as always for joining us, and we'll be sure to stay on top of things in the coming days. Thanks a lot.
Sure.